take over that responsibility?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That's a big help. I think we're missing Bengu and who else?
We are almost all students. There's no...
There's me and Niels.
Yeah.
We run the show today.
Yeah, I think it's only Bengu and Megdus.
Okay.
Bengu come
online. Megdus is online.
Can we make a round of applause for Megdus?
Yes, but maybe we should just wait for everybody, and then we start with that for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. I'm missing one person. Who is it? It's Masoom, isn't it?
Yes.
Sorry. Yes. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, but she is online.
Maybe I will share the link with her.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just 1 minute more, and then we should be all of it. Oh. Yeah. Was it a tough week, everybody?
Masoom is here. Yeah.
Masoom is here. Okay. Yeah. So let's start the day, but for sure, Megdus deserves a big congratulations. And I think I talk for everybody and say that we're very happy that you started with your web development career. And I think it was Swati that shared some questions. I think it's a good idea to tell a bit about your experience and your how did you do it and how was the interview, and if you had some tests or something like that. Would you like to share a little bit of your experience in getting the internship?
Yes, yeah. Thank you all. So the internship I actually applied with the Hub, and I think they replayed about after a week or something. And then first I had a video interview, and it was just about asking about my background, what I do, and I just told them about Hack Your Future and all, and they just asked some general questions. They were not too technical. And then they said they will email me. Then I think it was after a day, they said they wanted me to come by to their office for a follow-up interview. And the interview, in the second interview, they asked about the projects that we've been doing, what projects I have done, and what solutions I used, and why I chose to use these solutions. Some kind of technical questions, but they didn't give me like a taste or something. They just asked based on what I told them, and they wanted me to show them what we have been doing. And then they asked why I used, for example, why I used Storybook, why I was doing this. They just asked some questions, and then that was pretty much it. And then they told me about the company, and yeah, so they wanted me to come by the last Friday, And I thought it was just going to be an introduction, but I ended up starting the job. So I got some tasks and it's okay, I guess, so far.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what are you doing? Is it front end?
It's front end. Yes, they are building sensors and they want applications for it, and they have done something with I think with Python, but they haven't done a lot with it. So it's they have one full stack developer and they have one back end and front end intern, and they want to change the whole thing with React. They want to do like mobile apps and websites. They want me to get started with the website first, and I'm just currently designing what has been done, redesigning it with React. So that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
It's nice.
It sounds interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a good challenge. And do they use Storybook as well, or was it just
No, they don't use Storybook. Yeah.
Okay. And are you thinking about implementing it, or what's the plan there?
Yes, I'm thinking about implementing it, but it's like I'm not sure yet. But I think it's a good idea, right? If I implement it to show them what's going on.
Yeah, you can definitely mock all the components and show the backend, the backenders and the full stack. What are you thinking and what you're actually developing without hooking it up with the other stacks. So yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Good
but
question.
that was I don't know if anyone has a question.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Magnus, can I ask you, did you do any online profile? Do you have your CV in LinkedIn? Because my main issue now is what should I do first? How did you do it? Did you use like your LinkedIn base or just a CV, PDF? Do you have a portfolio that is not a GitHub?
Yes, I'm not done with my portfolio yet. So, but in the job ad, they asked for a LinkedIn page, a GitHub page, and yes, that's the only thing they asked. And then, but in my CV, I had my no, they didn't ask for a GitHub page, but they just asked for a CV and a LinkedIn page, and in my CV, I had put my GitHub page.
Perfect.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, we actually last week we had a talk with alumni, and some of them showed some concern about exactly what you're asking, right? Where to start and what to clean up first. And I made a list, and this is a little bit in line with the what we say on the career guide. On Start Your Career. This is my advice. I'm going to share it on Class 12. So what to do first? And I would say, of course, having a CV and then clean your GitHub. You're applying for a technical position. So if you have your GitHub with projects that don't work, that doesn't resonate. That doesn't give a good... of course, you're students, but cleaning up, it's a good idea. And then LinkedIn, and then get some templates and solicit application letter, a template for web developer, full stack and front-end developer application letter. And then online portfolio, start working on projects, your own projects, do some online courses. And of course, at this point, you've done so much that you can actually write some articles, and you can use Hacky Future Medium account. This is actually account, not courses. And while doing it, you can attend to meetups and other events. But I put this in the last one because it's actually, on these times, it's a little bit difficult to do that. Does that make sense in your heads?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and what I want to add is that they want to see something visually.
Yeah.
If we send them their GitHub, they're always like, they want to see it in action. So make sure everything's clean and it looks good for them. I know we care about what's going on with the JavaScript and all, but they actually want to see something that also looks good. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, you mean something that is deployed, something that is online, or?
Yes, they want to see something that's online. Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, deploying your project is definitely.
Yeah. I have so, what all projects did you put in your repository from the tasks that we did?
I had 3 because I had made one e-commerce website that was for another interview, and I had deployed that with Netlify, so I sent them that.
Okay.
And I also there was some Giphy search that we did.
Yeah.
Yes, that even I feel like I need to fix that because the CSS doesn't look that good, and also there was one we did the meal sharing up.
Yeah.
With Haruku, yes. Also, yeah. Those were the things, yeah. I showed.
Yeah. Niels, from an employer perspective, do you want to pitch in?
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. It's always hard. Like, people do it different ways. We also have coding tests and everything. So I think it depends also like on the like level you are going into. Like, we hired like senior developers, right? So they went through like several tests of different kinds, like problem solving tests and coding tests and so on and so on. But yeah, it sounds right. Like it's always, I feel like the problem with hiring software developers is that you need to test it somehow, because anyone can put something online and then it looks good. You don't know who built it even, right? So it's kind of hard to assess sometimes.
Yeah, I heard
it's always nice. Like, it's good to be prepared that you can show something and you can explain it. And if you can't explain it, then you probably don't know that much about it, right? And I think it usually is more interesting not to look at, for example, if you used a map or a for loop or whatever in your code. It's just more interesting to like having you explain why did you do it this way and not another way, for example. Just to understand how you're thinking about it, because like software development is just like problem solving with code, right? So if I can understand how you think, then it will be easier to work with you. Right? I think that's the short version. You can always try our code challenges if you want.
Which one?
We have 2. We have one that's like more like solving a problem, like describing how you would build a system, and then we have another one which is actually implementing something in code with this React web.
Yeah, and the culture fit or the the soft skills. I heard Magnus saying that they didn't go so technical, and that makes me think that they were trying to understand if your personality, Magnus, would fit their team.
Yeah, the first interview was not very technical. It was just general. They asked me to tell them about myself, and they just asked some general things, why I wanted to apply, and general stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was in the second interview. They wanted me to choose like projects I've been working on, and they wanted me to explain a lot about those projects, and they were asking why I was doing that and why I was doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, matches what Niels is saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's very different. If you apply to Google, they will have like you will have 7 interviews or something. So that's like and they will ask you to do code and algorithms on whiteboards and all kind of board stuff.
Yeah, we
depends.
Go ahead, Niels.
No, I'm just saying like it depends very much on like what technical level of experience you have. You come in and try to get a job as someone who is like a senior developer, or you're just starting out as junior or internship or whatever. So it's very different. And obviously, the more experience you have, the more they will test your technical depth.
Yeah, I'm going to share, I think it's on the career guide, but I'm going to share some technical tests that we have here in Hack Your Future. So, yeah, you can go through them to get a little bit of an idea, or at least to practice some. Could always be like something that you can say in the interview, oh, I came prepared and I've been doing some tests. If the conversation leads that way. It's always nice to talk about your experiences and what you actually, the effort that you actually been doing to get a job on web development. That's also something that you should value and you should highlight. You should show with strong colors and bold font. Yeah. Should we start?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a little bit of everything to be merged, and we reached the stage where we have we can actually start building pages because we have the components, we have a few endpoints. We should have the database and the seeding on, but or merged, but that's on the way. So next week we're going to start with creating some pages, and the issues will cover that. So it's just aggregating the components and hooking them up with the endpoints and applying some other logic that some game logic as well that we haven't covered yet. But good work. I'm very happy and surprised. I see your class has a very talkative class, and in the beginning of the project, I was like, oh my god, they talk so much. But it's because you have a very strong group bond, and that's so good because you go together. It's one of the classes that I can see that you all going together instead of making like small groups. And my worriedness was it didn't turn on in anything. You guys are doing great, and yeah, you are all you deserve a big congrats for that. Don't worry so much about worry more about the learning and worry more about understanding what you're doing. And this is an exercise. It's awesome if we manage to deploy it, and I really want to do it, and I will push you to do it. But the first goal of the course is to learn and to feel comfortable with the learning. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Should we do some demos? Anybody with a big problem that wants to share and understands a possible path to solve it?
Yep. Maybe I can go first.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone, and congrats, Magnus.
Hi.
First of all, I had a problem to understand the task. So after 2 days, I ran to Daniel, and then I asked Priyanka and Mohammed. And based on our conversation, I end up to see that I need to insert new columns, in a new query. So maybe I can share my screen. I try. Yeah, here. And share it. So.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, okay. I was like.
Now we see yeah, you're going to change it. Yeah.
Yeah. You can see, or it's not working?
I see myself.
It works.
So,
But it works, yeah.
So if we go at the end, when I look at the diagram, here I need to have some records for every time that we run the game instance. So it's a user and game factory. So I made this pass in, and we can check it with the Swagger.
Masoom, can you tell us what is the issue that we're talking about?
Yeah, it was an endpoint for QR code. So
What is it to create, to change, to?
no, actually, it was insert a new statement. So my first doubt about that is, should I make a QR code? Should I make the what is behind that task? At the end, I found that, okay, I need to make a new record every time that they call it a user called endgame. So it was my understanding. I'm not sure about that, but I run this code. So if we go to the, so it's the verb is post because it's an insert. Then if we come to Swagger, you can see here, I have a what they call it, unique code for each time that the player called the game. So if I execute here, you can see
What do you mean by call a game?
I mean that whenever the user wants to have a game, it's a one call, right? So it should have a unique query including game and user.
And are you talking about creating a game, so being the host, or joining the game? Being,
based on my understanding is that whenever a user wants to play, they choose one game, and with a unique user ID for the game and unique user ID for the user, right?
But again, is it the host or is it a normal player joining a game? And I'm asking these questions because you've read your issue, but not I believe that not everyone in the call has read your issue. So it's just to give a little bit of context, and everybody can follow your question, your issue.
Okay, I think that it's a user that choose the game, so it's depend on user.
You're saying choose, and I repeat my question: is it a new game, or is it an existing game that is being hosted, and then I'm going to join? Am I creating the game, or am I joining a game that you created?
No, it's okay. That was my problem, but based on looking the other pull request and state and issues, I decided, okay, there is a game that I can join.
Okay, a game that you can join. Okay.
Yes. And based on this QR, if you see, then I can execute the game. This QR is a unique for the game and the user based on the user ID, the time. It makes this code. And so if I clear it here and then execute it, you can see here in response body, this is a QR code, and if, because we don't have user or game right now, if I just cancel it here and then put, for example, let's say 3, and this is a user with the ID 3 and a game with ID 1, we want to execute. I run to error saying that this is this foreign key does not exist, and so on. So That's it.
Okay, and that's your question.
Yeah, because I didn't know that if I'm understanding the task correctly or not, but based on what I saw on the diagram and the other people task, I thought that it might be the correct way to address it.
Okay, I'm just checking the task now.
Yeah, here it's like, yeah.
I'm just doing it on my browser, so
Yeah.
so I can go up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Niels, I don't know if you have any opinion about how to create them. The QR code is basically a code, and then we convert it into the image, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, like you can generate the QR codes based on whatever, right? But I think the only thing is just, it looks like there is 2 foreign keys, and you cannot create a game instance without the 2 foreign keys.
Yeah.
As far as I can see. So I don't know if the first endpoint with the QR code without the 2 IDs makes sense to create, because if you don't have the foreign keys, you should not be able to create game instance.
Yeah, and
I don't know if you can show that. You can show that. I don't know if it's connected to the database, or maybe you can show where it's created there.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say that I wouldn't be worried about the user. I wouldn't use a foreign key, because the game instance by itself, it's unique.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot have game instances created, the same game instance created by different users. A game instance is with, like, the game instance and the user table, it's 1-to-1. It's not 1-to-many, or many-to-1. So you can actually just use, for example, the game instance ID and the creation date, and from there you can create a random code.
So because I put the create date and the user ID and a game ID, but you suggest that I can delete the user ID and make my QR code based on game ID and the created date. Yeah, thank you.
Do you see any other way, Niels?
No, I guess that makes sense. But the foreign key for the game ID should not be able to be null.
Should not be able to what? Sorry, Nils.
Should not be able to be null. You have to,
yeah, but it's nullable. But it's nullable. So.
Oh, but I don't think it makes sense to have a game instance of no game. I don't think that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe that's a migration issue. Did you create this table yourself, or did
it was our group? Yeah, it was our group. Me, Mohammed, Kriti, and John. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Can you take note of this input that Niels just gave you?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
So we should change the game ID to not be nullable.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
And then I don't know, like the score here, I guess it's an integer or something like that.
Yes.
Or a float or similar.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know if it should just start out being 0 instead of null. Maybe that would make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Actually, I tried with 0, but there was some problem. Maybe I okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Try to search Connect's default values.
Yes.
So
yes,
you know how to.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. But yeah.
Can I fork a comment here?
Sorry?
Can I say something?
Yes.
I am checking all the foreign keys in the tables that we have merged.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them are like able to be null, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's not just in the game instance, but even the ones that we created with our group. none of us put that the foreign keys should not be null. So maybe we all need to change that.
Yeah, because all the table are nullable. So
Yeah, and maybe you did that because you just implemented the field and you didn't create the relation. But yes.
Yeah, because that's kind of the constraint from the foreign key, right? That you should not. It should tell you if you don't define this, because like a game instance with no connection to a game doesn't make sense, right? So it should tell you that, hey, sorry, you have to specify this.
I have a question.
So, yes.
Like the foreign key in a table means that is a primary key in another table. So in that table, we would have it defined that it should not be null, right? Because the primary key cannot be null, it will be auto incrementable. So should we decide? Should we do it in the other table also? The same constraint, not null.
Try whoever is showing the screen now. Can you try go to the database diagram? Just 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
okay. So thank you. That was from me.
Can you show the database diagram?
Yes. I try to. Yeah. You mean here from my task?
Yes.
Or yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
just
its whole
Exactly.
diagram. Yeah.
So the foreign keys is just a reference to an ID in another table, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Just so that is clear.
Yeah.
And for example, the users, let's say like, okay, just to take an example, what is it? The game ID, for example, the game instance, right? The foreign key game ID is referring to the game factory ID.
Yeah.
Right. And in the game factory ID, ID would not be able to be null regardless, because it's auto incremented and it's the actual unique value for this table. But it does not mean that just because it is it's referenced as an ID here and you reference it here, it doesn't mean in this table it could not be null. So you have to set it as a constraint. So there is a relation, so you know that these two are related. And it cannot be null.
Okay. So first of all, we should change our a game instance and on clicks, and then I can what they call it, update my code. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the data, what is it called? Database schema should reflect that this is a foreign key, because foreign key is basically just like a contract you make between the two tables that like hey, these two know about each other or belongs to each other.
Yeah.
So they should not be null.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a whole mistake. Okay. Thank you.
If that makes sense.
Yes. My first the issue was like, okay, what should I do? But I saw that it's nullable, so I choose this way. But yeah, we change it and then we can correct it. Yeah, thank you. Should I stop sharing?
If you're done.
Yes, thank you.
Do we need to do any change on the data model, on the diagram?
You asking me?
Niels.
Oh yeah.
If we need to change something.
Yeah, I just heard you and I was not sure. But if you were suggesting any change.
No, it was just like explaining the relation. Okay. But yeah, if we remove the user ID from the game instance, yes, then we should remove that, I think. But I don't know.
From which one? I'm sorry.
From the game instance, we had the foreign key user ID. If we don't need it anymore, then there's no reason to have it there. Like I don't know. That makes sense.
On the game,
it's just like that's what you talked about before. There is two foreign keys. There is the game ID, and then there is the user ID. And if we don't need the user ID, then there's no reason to have it there, I guess.
Well, a user creates the game instance, so he's the host. Okay. And I would like to know who's the host of the game instance.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, and no changes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, who's next?
Can I do this next? I have quite a few questions.
Yeah, it's Swati, right?
Yes, Swati. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll first share my screen. Yeah. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, so this is my task. The task that I have to do is an insert. So I have to insert a row in users table and assign a user's role and associate an avatar. So, okay, so these are the tables that I would require to do my task: users, user role, and roles. So I didn't have any problem in creating, in writing the insert statement for users table because it just has, there is no foreign key connection, so it's a simple insert statement. So the next thing is for that particular user that I had created, I have to associate a role with that user. So how do I do that? So I just have a code. I'm not sure if that is going to work. Can you please check? I just thought I should return the ID that I'm inserting, and with that ID, I should insert inside user's role.
Have you tested it? Have you used Postman to test your endpoint?
No, I didn't use Postman. I got my endpoint in Swagger, but for some reason the insert is not happening. So that also I have a question to ask about. So I just wanted to know if this syntax is right.
Okay, can you try to use the endpoint so we can check what happens? You say it doesn't work. Does it return an error? Okay. What is the error?
Yes. So now it's not. Just a second. Okay. So. Okay, so this post create a user is my endpoint. I will try to input some value.
Swati, I don't know if your microphone is hanging, but sometimes we hear a lot. Sometimes we hear the noise a little, or at least I hear the noise.
Okay, I think it's because I didn't use any headphones and I'm just moving my laptop here.
Talk a little bit closer like this. I'm kidding, but yeah, just for you to know.
Yeah, sure.
Updated maybe 7. Okay, so I will try to execute this one. This is the error that I get, but I get inside some app.js. I'm not sure how I should try to resolve it.
Can you go back to the code part where it's implemented? Also, I don't think you should specify ID and all the dates. Like, I don't think that's necessary.
Okay. But it was mentioned like not nullable, so that's why I gave some value inside it. Yeah, this is
But
the
this is for
But the
this is
value
for
should be
creating the
automatic.
user.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Niels.
Yep. The value should be automatic. Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So I will take that one. So I remove both created at and updated at.
Yeah, I guess deleted that as well. No, you computer. You don't need them at all here.
Okay. So I'll just delete those fields.
Just
Okay.
you don't like just from this part, right? So like when someone calls the endpoint, you don't need to specify all these things. The backend database will figure it out.
Yes. But it was so stupid. Yes, you're right. Okay.
And the ID is probably the same thing. If this is the auto increment value.
Yeah, it is. Yes. So I don't need it.
Then
Yeah,
you also
right.
don't need that.
Correct. Okay. So I will try to execute.
You probably still have an error, but at least that is that part. All right, can you go to the code then?
Yep. Yes.
Nice. All right. What else is there than this? Because this just inserts it in the database.
Yes. So this is the first question, and the code that I've commented is I will ask it as the next question.
So where is the route for this one?
Oh yeah. Route is this is the for Swagger, right?
Yes. Yeah, for the input, yeah. So you have something like, I don't know where this is pointing, because you had like the error is like the response set status, send status something. It's not defined.
Here, okay.
No, not there. But if you go to the error again, Swagger.
Yeah, sure.
So you can see like it says address like in the type error here.
Yes, right. So where is this located? The rest.send status in app.js. That's what it says.
Looks like it.
App.js 49th line. Okay, I'll try to go there.
But sorry, you haven't execute from Swagger after you delete the fields, right?
Yes, I did.
But it says the information remains. That's why I was asking.
You mean I didn't delete it here?
No. Well, here you're gonna request body ID, and you're putting nothing in Swagger. If you can go to Swagger.
Yeah. So I will remove from here also, Niels, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That should make sense.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, it shows the same error. No, if I save it automatically and then try to re-execute in the Swagger, is it going to work, or should I run npm run dev again?
But if you look at the Swagger, like it didn't look like it executed anything different. Like the curl here is the same. I don't know if that's usually.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's not changing. Maybe I should do npm run dev again. Okay.
Yeah, but right now it's just showing that because you haven't changed the Swagger part, I think.
While you do that, are we working in 5,000 or 3,000?
I
5,000.
think.
Hmm.
I don't think it makes a difference.
It's still the same.
Yeah, because you have not updated the documentation part for the swagger, like, so that's fine.
Oh, yeah. Ah, okay. Mm-hmm. You mean this one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I think that's it.
Okay, I will try to execute it again. Every time should I do npm run dev?
No, you shouldn't need to do that.
Okay, and this is the moment that I will start pressuring you guys with time, because we don't have any topics to introduce today. The goal here is to do demos and figure out what to boost in the things that you're stuck with. But we want to cover everyone. So instead of that, and the following students that have questions, please try to structure your questions so we don't lose time with like small details. Try to think how you're going to ask and what you have to ask.
Can you offer us like a time frame maximum?
Well, we
Otherwise,
already
we can just take these things last, like if there's any issue.
that's a good solution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's still this issue for some reason. But let's look at that after.
Okay. Yeah. And I had another question. So I also for for that particular insert that happened in users table, I need to insert into users role as well. So is this syntax that I've commented below is the right way of doing it?
I don't know what the first part is, but like the await connect user roles insert, that seems right.
No, the thing is, okay, then my question is, now when I've inserted into the users table, for that particular user, I need users role. So I need to insert inside users role as well. So how do I do that? So how do I know that for that particular ID, I need to insert into users role? Because every user who is login is going to play the game is going to be associated with the role. So it's going to be there for all the users. So immediately when the user is created in the table, I should be associated with the role. So how to keep track of which user was created and how do I associate that particular user with the role? So that's the question.
That's a parameter, Swati. That should be a parameter. So if you're creating if the role, well, it's a parameter, but it's also a good question in terms of flow in the app, because we actually don't have that considered, the profile for host and the profile for or we can just work around that and the hosts. Let me check the roles.
Why does it need to specify the user role when you're creating the user? Is it like when you create the game or when you create the user?
That's a question. that question collides with the flow of where do we want to create the user in the app, and I don't think we worked that so much. Let me check.
Okay, maybe then Daniel, for now I can have two separate .js controller files, one to create user profile and the other one for user roles.
Yeah, that's the way of doing it.
Yeah, but you're not creating new roles.
Yes, that I know. We have only, I think, 4 or some roles. I heard it from Lucha. So yeah.
Those are static. Don't worry about them.
Okay.
In the future, we might worry about them, but not
now. Okay. So I will have another controller file, another root file for the user roles, right? At least for now.
Yeah, I think the thing is should not be in this one at least.
Okay. Okay, that's and Daniel, I need to create an avatar table also, right? We already discussed, but I just wanted to maybe ask you if we should include that in the DB diagram, avatar table and the key foreign key to it in the users table.
Yes, you just need to tell me how you're gonna build the table.
Okay.
You guys are the developers, so I helped what I could in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But now things are a little bit to explain my role as well. I have to be on the overview of things and not dive into the code, because if I dive into the code, I will be lost in one of your first, I cannot dive that much. And then if I do, I will get lost and the project loses the overview. So I need to get my hat here is to know what you guys are doing.
Okay.
And this, I'm on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys will go down with Niels Schmidt and Niels Gregersen and Zaki, because they don't need to worry about the overview. They will just worry about the technical questions that you have, and that's how we make this go forward.
Okay.
I give you some tips in terms of business, because I want to be here on the business layer and on the overview layer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But if you have any question, this doesn't mean that you can't ask me questions. You can ask me questions, but be aware of this limitation.
Yeah, sure. I will send you how I want the table to look like so that we can include in the diagram. Sure, I will do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will stop sharing my screen.
Okay.
Stop sharing. Yeah.
Hi, Jaime. Or Jaime. Is it like that?
Yes, Jaime. Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, we're doing some demos for the final project, and we just had a student that stopped their demo, so it's you're gonna hear a demo from the beginning. Who's next?
I will be next if.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay.
Yes. I want to share my screen.
Don't forget to contextualize your issues so everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I want to close the issue that is this one. It's map component with a circle marker component. Okay. And it's I almost finished it, but I just want to see if any suggestion to improve it and make the final pull request for it. The issue when I'm playing the game, I want to be able to circle marker on the map so I know I'm close to the next question. Create storybook component using leaflet that shows your current position and circle marker like the image below. Okay, and if I go to maybe this is I want yes like this. This is the map with the marker, and this is the circle marker component with the current location. First, the current location, it gives me wrong accurate. Now I'm not in Copenhagen, but it still gives me that I'm in Copenhagen. This is the first. And if I want to take a look of my code, this is the code. I made this component. It's a function component. I'm using this states for state is loading and error, latitude, longitude. Here I'm using use effect to get the geolocation with everything. And here I have this const for geo success and geo failure. Here how I set the new latitude and new longitude. And I'm returning the map with marker, and the circle marker will, after that, we want to just improve it to be shown when it's close to the treasure position. But for now, I'm just setting it up like this. If it's not loading and there is no error, just give me the circle marker. So far.
Where does it get the location from?
It's from here. I got it from, sorry. It is from the navigator geolocation.
Mm-hmm.
It is right here. Navigator geolocation, get current position. It takes 3 parameters with success, failure, and options. Okay.
Right.
Here I'm define how it's geo success it's work. I just set loading to false and given the new position. Here when it's failure, set loading to true and set error to error.message and throw error.message.
Mm-hmm. So just a question. So every time we use this component specifically, right? We have the map and the circle marker. So this circle marker will be displayed every time we have the map.
No, this circle marker it should be shown later when the player is close to the treasure. So usually he just want to see the marker with his current position, and he become close to the treasure. So the circle marker will be shown. It's just give him a note that, okay, you are now, let's say 50 meters away from your question or your task. I don't assign it for now because I don't know how I don't know the coordinates for the treasure. We want to set up later, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I hear it's not this one. Yeah, and I just made an icon with GS. That I defined the icon, the size of it, and with pop anchor. When I show you here, I push. Yes, I'm just put it now. I'm the marker. If want to show any information. This is it. It should not be for me. Yes.
So the thing, I think the thing here is just like when we build the components like this is using the entire map as well, and I guess it's mainly the marker you need, right? So we already have another map. We have several map components, right?
Yeah. We have here another map component I saw. And we have, I don't made it, but there was another map component. Yeah, this is here, another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So now we have 3 different maps, basically, right?
Yep.
So what I would do for this, I think it's nice that you have the map so you can actually showcase that it works. But I think the idea here is like the actual circle part here, right? With the marker. If you can pass that to any of the other maps, as a single component, right? That is almost what you want, because then you make it reusable and you can use it whenever you want. If that makes sense.
So you mean just a circle marker? Yes. Without map? So in this case, if I want to come back to...
So let's say if I had the circle marker, but I want to use one of the 2 other maps, how would you do that?
I would just make function and give it a prop with hooks. And then we can use it in different places. Is it correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, because then you would copy it from here, I guess. Or It's just a question of like, how would you reuse this right now?
This one, this whole component.
So let's say you want the circle marker, right? You want
Yes.
to put it in the other map, like let's say the blue one.
Yeah, I didn't define it as a separate file now, but I could do it as a separate file, and after that I import it.
Yeah, exactly. That was my point.
Okay, so
because it should be you should be able to reuse this circle marker in whatever map it is, right?
Cool.
It doesn't really matter what map it is.
So I'll break it down. You mean just make it a smaller component?
Yeah. So the circle marker, I guess, it should have all the it should load without the map part. Like you should be able to pass it in the map, right?
Yes.
So yeah, splitting it up, that makes sense. It was just a question of like if you thought about that part.
Okay. But in this case, what about using current location? I have to put it in the map because if I read here, where is it?
The current location, it will take your position, right? Not the position of the treasure.
Yes, exactly. But it's here the component that show, because in the other maps there is we are not able to see the current location. Here I have to show the current position and the circle marker.
Yes.
In this case, yeah. So in this case, your idea, you mean to get rid of the map and the marker and just keep all the logic here for the current position with the marker.
Mm-hmm.
So we can export it, and after that import it, for example, in other components.
Exactly. And you could pass, like you could make it a parameter as well. So like, let's say the circle marker, if you don't pass a specific coordinate into the component, if you want to place it somewhere else than your current location, like by default, it would pick up your current location. Otherwise, you can pass a specific location on the map if you want to. You reuse it like more. So like that's just a way to extend it. That makes sense. But yes, I would split it so you don't have to use the map here.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Well, it looks good to me. I think the only thing, like reason why, for example, it shows you're in Copenhagen is probably cache in your browser that stores location. There is some for the navigator. There is some parameters you can pass to update it more often. I've used the same thing before, so I can share that.
Yes, if you can just share it with me, so it would be perfect because I was trying just to change it. And if I'm here reloading, I just put initial coordinates. See here, it's take the initial coordinates, it's Hercule Future, and after that, it just give me this location, and I'm not close to this one.
Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah.
Well, it seems good to me.
So any improve in this code? Here I have another question in use effects. Should I use a synchronized function to fetch this navigator data, or is it good in this way? So I for example, should I use another function? For example, function fetch location, and I give it async, and after that all of this. Wait. And then I just pass it here in use effect, or this is good way. Which way is better?
No, this is fine.
This is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. And the success.
It's only like I think it makes sense if you want to reuse it somewhere else, then you could extract it as a function. But like here, I think it's fine. I don't see any place.
Okay.
Unless we will use it in more locations, then I think this is fine.
No, we don't. I think we just need this. Okay, so I have to get rid of this and break this component to smaller component and give the circle marker props so I can change it and export it to other components.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Perfect.
Unless anyone else disagrees.
No, I agree. Cool. Thank you so much. So who's next?
Yeah. And I just shared here in the chat that with 15 minutes, we should make it possible for everyone. So try to aim for that. Yeah, who's eager to do the next one?
No questions. That sounds amazing. Oh my god.
It's me now. I will share my screen first.
Yes, John.
Hi, Daniel.
Yeah, don't forget to pitch or to say it out loud what your issue.
Yeah.
In the first place, yeah.
Yes, here the task for this week. I have to select all users or the players they played. Then I have to calculate their points, and the third things I need to sort them. So I think this is where we have the ranking for players. I think for Swagger, where is Swagger? Yes, here. I removed the rest. I don't know if I should keep it for the others. There were 5. So, but I just keep for mine. But I have an issue here when I execute the end of
same error as we saw before.
So yeah, the same error with Suhati, I think. I'm not be able to fetch the data, or I'm not sure actually. Should I have the data here in my files in the final project? I mean here in Seeds, or should I? Yeah, I don't know, but we have already here, but it's not. I tried to connect the data what I have here with Swagger, but I couldn't get it. I think it's what we have before. So yeah, and in the code. Here. I used select with order by and with the descending, with limit for 15 players to be shown in this page. Yeah, and here I'm not sure if I need to use Synchronize or another thing. I think there is someone they have. Yeah.
Okay. Can you go guys to the GitHub task issue?
GitHub task issue. Yes, here.
Yeah. So which table was it? It's the users one, or it's the game instances one?
This here, you mean?
Is this the one you're creating?
Yeah, this one with the score game instance. Yeah, with the score. So I think we need to calculate the scores here for players, and then we get. But first we need to get the scores. I'm not sure from where we can get it. Is it already here? It's supposed to be here, so we just pick it up from here, or it's supposed to be in another place with the users. But here, I think just we need the formula for or code for to get the scores and sort it from up to down or down to up.
I'm not even sure what the score is doing on game instances.
Yeah. So yeah, this
it's
because
the
I don't.
place that we have the score. We don't have a score in any other place.
Yeah, but that doesn't seem right, because it's not the game that has a score. It's the user on the game that has a score, right? It's the
yes.
player.
But they
is gets a score on each game and then a total score or something like
But can I say something? Because I was working with the seeds.
that.
It makes sense because one user can have many different game instances with many different scores. So that's why you have the foreign key for the user in the game instance. Because me as a user, I can be playing 3 games and I can be having 3 different type of scores in each one.
Okay.
I think that's why it was done like that.
Yeah. And then each user have to create a game instance, right?
Yeah, but
Otherwise it will not work.
The game instance it's playing. It's created from the game factory when the user is playing, right?
Yeah, I think that would make sense. But that just means
Because
like
we have game
every player is part of the game has to have an instance of the game, I guess. That makes sense.
That's why.
we have this page where we have the correct answers and the right answers and the ranking here. So I assume that we need to link this achieve or this is the score what we need to get that from.
Yeah, but that's confusing when we think about Masoom's task. We need to understand who's the host of the game, right? Because there's someone that is the one that creates the game instance.
Yeah.
And that's the relation between users and game instances. And then we have the scores, and I think you're right, Lucha. The first idea was to have the score here and using the relation between the game instances and the users to have that score. But it's a little bit of we have to decide how to use this relation, or for one of the other, or else it gets or else we lose the host. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what I'm thinking, maybe we need to create another table with the current or for current player score and export also the other scores or player scores from another table. So where we have okay.
Do you have any suggestion, Niels?
I just see it as I can't remember how so there is the game, right, and then there is the game instances, which can be like several, I guess. Otherwise, there would be no reason to have.
I'm just gonna grab the presentation here.
But I just remember the rules of the game. It's like it's like several people work together to get points, or are they competing against each other?
They're competing against each other. Can you see my?
Then they will need to score each, right?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, it's a multiple. Well, we're aiming for a multiple player thing. So here on the this FK user ID, Masoom needs that to know which one is the host.
I heard my name, but I couldn't understand. What was your question?
It wasn't a question.
Okay,
it's a statement. I'm saying that you need this relation in order to understand who's the host of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we need to understand how the user is accumulating points, right?
Yeah.
Or how many points? But that's not with you, Masoom. That's another thing. That's with John now.
Yeah.
So, or we use this relationship for the host, or we use this relationship for the score. Does that make sense, Niels?
Yeah, I just don't because we need to figure out how we connect how the users are connected to the game, right? So let's say there's four users, then there would be 4 instances of the game, right? For each user, like one for each user.
Well, we can do that. Yeah, but how do we distinct the host there?
I would use, I don't know, I don't remember what the roles are specified as, but like the roles for the game, I guess you could use for that.
Okay.
Or you create a separate like field in the game instances where you just specify, okay, this one is the host of the game instance.
Yeah, because the initial idea was to have one user here that was hosting one instance, one game instance, and then you has a user would just connect that with a QR code and start to answer the questions and the answers.
Okay.
But
that also makes sense. But then the score needs to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right.
Or we do a middle way table here that has the foreign keys and score.
Yeah.
And that works a little bit like the leaderboard. Would that even make things easier?
It will work for the leaderboard for like one specific game, right? Not across several games, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's per game instance, so it's per game. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then you would collect, because you have the user, you would just collect the points of each of that specific user, and you would just sum them up, and you would have the you would do a pivot table with sorted by user.
Yeah. Yeah, that could work.
Does that make sense, John?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So we move the score.
Yeah.
To another table that is created here.
Yeah.
And we can actually call it scoreboard or something like that. So it's a little bit oriented to the business.
Mm-hmm.
And we know what we're going to score, what we're going to store there. We're going to store the scores.
You would also call it game score or something.
Yeah.
And
then you follow the same conventions.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, great. So should I create this table?
Yes. Yeah. The idea is you need the table, right? So you take ownership of that migration.
Super. Yes.
Okay. And you also have to get rid of this one here.
You're right. And then I will go with the rest of the task that yeah. Okay. Fine. Good.
Cool. Thank you. And
Thanks. Hi.
Okay, who do we have next? I'm gonna stop sharing. Wait.
We do one more and then a small break.
Yeah. We can have a small break, 1:45.
Yep.
Yeah. So 1:45, and then we start over at 2:15.
Okay.
Is it you, Gofran, that wants to go next?
No, I don't have a question, but.
Yeah, but Demos, your work, it's good to share so everybody knows, I'm going to use Gofran's component. And I know how to do it because he explained it.
Okay. I share my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't see it yet.
Yeah. No. So I want to share this storybook component. You can see, yeah?
Yep.
Yes.
Here for QR code, display the QR code in my storybook. Here, just here, I take from this NPM code QR code React, import it in my code here, and just I make a QR code function with this importing value and color and size. Storybook. So I don't do any big thing. So in my storybook here, everything work when I run here. This for random code. When I change value here, change the UR color, same thing, and size. And their level. So yeah, that's it. I don't know if it's okay with this component or
Yeah, seems fine.
Yeah.
What is the goal here is to show the QR code, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess generating the QR code.
Yes, generate QR code.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
What did you use to generate the code in terms of parameters?
I use this package in parameters. So value and size and front color and background color and level. So this, all of them from this package.
Okay, so Masoom can just send you the code and you can generate any code, right?
Yeah, any code we can generate. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, actually,
the value
that I create is the value for him. Yes.
Yeah, it is the value, or yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot of people use this NPM.
Yeah, I can see that it's quite safe. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes.
Yeah.
If you give me another thing to do, so I'm ready.
Yeah, I think we need to start creating the pages. So that's
yes.
That's the goal now for next week.
I want to work on the background pages. So because
yeah, and how is the loader situation?
The loader.
Yeah.
I want to fix it. Is not so much good. So I'll show you in my. After Effects, I did this one. Is very simple. I don't know if it's okay.
But simple is good.
Yeah, they're just simple. I did this animation for like 3D. The logo is turned a little bit, but yeah, that's it.
But, yeah, but we don't. I don't think we need more than this, and it looks.
Yeah, okay. I can put it in the page.
And you did this with you're going to do this with Lottie, or?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
With Lottie. Yeah.
Okay, that's super interesting.
Yes.
That's super interesting.
I can implement it in the project. I work before this project with another project when I implement the loading page GIF, so I can do it now.
Yeah.
In this project, yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys want to have lunch now, or should we? And then we would meet at 2:00.
Okay.
Yeah.
You with me? Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Before we go to lunch, I just wanted to share something. There's a woman in Dizzy with a project about a game. And all the projects in Dizzy, they're like startups oriented to sustainability and social stuff. There's no money involved. And I could see that if you're interested, you could clone this project, because it has a lot of the structure and even a little bit of the logic, and do the project with her. She's not technical. She's a good designer, so you would have to do some of the technical aspect of it and the decisions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a small project. It's like a small prototype, and you could use a lot of this one. So just think about it. If you like, after the graduation, if you're like, okay, I just want to improve a little bit my code and do a project, why not do this one? Because it's another game, and you can just use a lot of our final project. Just an idea and an opportunity as well. There's no guidance. That's the minus, and there's no money. But it could be fun, and it's at right now the woman is at Dizzy, but I think she's going to move to another shared office. Yeah, and if you want some details or if you want to hear more about it or whatever, you can just reach me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Daniel, can you please share her link?
Yeah, I asked her because she's a good designer. So I asked her to do the wireframes and to detail a little bit more about the game. And when she comes back to me, I can share it in the channel if you're interested in that. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so 2:05 we meet. Yeah.
See you.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Bye.
Thank you.
half an hour.
Yeah. Bye-bye.